Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as I get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. So we are returning to the Avengers, and we're looking at Avengers West Coast number 48, or West Coast Avengers, however you would like to do it or say it, from 1989 by John Byrne. Now, truth disclosure, actually recorded number 49 and was about to upload it here and actually have uploaded it, and I realized when I was putting it on the playlist that I had not done 48. So, running back to do 48. Luckily, I work ahead, and it's not scheduled to come out for another week and a half, so I got plenty of time to slide this in there before that. So, this is recorded after 49, but we'll be there before 48, just for disclosure. We got great cover here. We got Scarlet Witch, Captain America, and the She-Hulk, and this is the beginning sort of the heel turn that is going to involve the Scarlet Witch, which Bendis is going to run away with it even more when he does his Avengers runs about I would say 10 years after this. So it says here, Captain America and She-Hulk have found the Scarlet Witch. Maybe not the smartest thing they ever did. This ancient evil. And so we start with our splash page here, and we see this moon or planet here being bombarded here. And John Byrne is putting in a lot of stuff here. He is quite verbose too, which is always struck me as funny because he criticized Chris Claremont of being so verbose, and yet. And so we are seeing the origins of a thing, a life form. Okay, so this will make sense on the next issue. So John Byrne is essentially letting us know that a life form has developed, and it's starting to kill the other life forms here. So, kind of joining and being part of the DNA of these future creatures. So, now we got 500 million years later. So, all right. And so, we got this guy here who asked for a report here. We've got the Scarlet Witch here. So all is proceeding exactly on schedule, Mr. Random. We chose well. In the Scarlet Witch, she is a classic mutant type, and the present upheaval in her emotional life has left her psychically vulnerable, open to complete assimilation. We got everybody here kind of looking great panel here. I love how John Byrne starts doing the all black. So when someone's wearing black, John Byrne started filling it in with all black. No little outline here. And memory reconstruction. How is that proceeding? Asked Random here. We've brought her up through the first 100 million years of our existence. At the present rate, she should be contemporary. Oh my God, these big words. At the present rate, she should be contemporaneous with us within 72 hours. That means that they'll be, one and the same. And the physical problems. Murchison. So far, so good, sir. We are matching physical assimilation to the memory reconstruction. I believe we will have beaten the genetic lockout by the time she is fully reprogrammed. And so, meanwhile, we see the Quinjet here, and we've got Captain America and the She-Hulk here. Captain America says, contact the civilian traffic controller, She-Hulk. The signal we monitored from the Quinjet emergency alert is centered somewhere outside authorized flight plans. And so she does and lets him know. And so these guys, do you require assistance? Shall we contact police or military? And Captain America says no. That they're just here on priority business. And that they'll contact the authorities if necessary. I love this um, panel here showing the flight of the Quinjet. That's pretty cool here. All right, and so this guy lets him know that the Quinjet has arrived, and he's like, "Oh, this is unanticipated. I understood Scarlet Witch to have severed her relationship with the Avengers before coming here." And they says, "Shall we continue with the assimilation process?" And he says, "Yes, I'll investigate this new arrival." And so they go in, and he asks, "To what do we owe the honor?" And he says, "No honor, I'm afraid. We're here on business. Specifically, we're looking for one of our aircraft we believe to have gone down in this vicinity." And so Random says, "Gone down? You mean crash? That is most distressing. I hope no harm has befallen the Scarlet Witch since she left the Vision with us." And She-Hulk asks if Wanda was here and the Vision's still here. And Random says, "Yes, I'd contacted the Scarlet Witch at your West Coast headquarters to offer her the use of our extensive robotics department in an attempt to more fully restore her husband. Please, won't you come in this way? I'll take you to him." So, all right. And so we now get an interlude here, and we've got Eros here. He is a brother, not a brother. He is the brother of Thanos, I believe. And so Eros is looking for Nebula. And so he's searching. He is a member of the Eternals known as Star Fox. And so Nebula, of course, is the grandchild of Thanos. So it's his grandniece. And so he hears it and he sees her here. And Nebula saying, "The formula is here. The ancient legends were true. Cut the stones into tablets and transport them to the ship. We will need only a source of sufficient energy." So this is, I believe, going to lead up to the Infinity Gauntlet. I believe this is stuff that's going on at the same time as the Silver Surfer. Anyway, so she continues here, "And I shall be more powerful than my grandfather ever was," which, of course, Star Fox is concerned. And so now we go into Denver here and in a homeless shelter. Now, somebody here asks, "How is she today?" Not much improved, I'm afraid. I think we should be giving consideration to getting her to a hospital. So, I don't know who this doctor is, but he seems to be like the person in charge of this. And so this person says, maybe. I'd like to try talking to her once, though. And so this is Anne Raymond. I think she's the wife of the original Human Torch, who's a robot. And I don't ask questions because it's comic books. "Mrs. Raymond, Anne, can you hear me? Can you tell me how you're feeling today?" And she says, "Please, can't stay here. Got to get to Los Angeles." And so this guy says, "All we can ever get out of her. Why do you suppose she needs to go to LA, and who's them?" And the doctor says, "Your guess is as good as anybody. I just wish there was some clue in these few things we found in her wallet." And the guy says, "Yes, that newspaper clipping has some sort of glue, obviously. Maybe she's a Vision groupie or something." And so he says, "That's a bit glib. Don't you think? Glib and cruel. We're supposed to be helping her." And of course the guy's like, Sure. I know what? I know that, and I want to help. But how can I, when the only thing we know about her is her name and that she's all distraught over that old headlines, which means Avengers confirmed Vision is not the Torch." So, all right. And so we are back here with She-Hulk and Captain America. And She-Hulk says, "I don't like this, Cap. Something about this place just stinks on ice." And he says, "You may be right, She-Hulk. My old battle instincts have been twinkling away like crazy since we got here." And the Vision says, I can assure you, Captain America, there's nothing you need to distress yourself over. And so they're happy to see it here. And he doesn't know, Vision doesn't know where the Scarlet Witch is. And he continues here, as Mr. Random undoubtedly informed you, Wanda departed on some errands of her own shortly after we arrived. I'm not aware of the nature of or the destination of that errand here. So underneath, they're continuing that assimilation process here. And so we are now back with the beginning. You know, this is the creature that we will learn about what's going on in the next issue. So, all right. Mr. Random shows them on the robotics program, which Captain America is impressed. And he says, excuse me, Mr. Random, but I see nothing here to suggest your facilities would be any better suited to the restoration of the Vision than our own. And Random says, perhaps not the facilities per se, Captain. What we were really offering the Scarlet Witch was a different approach. Captain America says, perhaps. Still, you would agree it is a great shame that Wanda should feel the need to turn to strangers after all we did and all we could do. And he says, yes, pity. And so she whispers something. He says, I'll be right there. And so they leave. And so She-Hulk is like, you're not really buying into this, are you, Cap? I'm not an expert, but this place doesn't look half as advanced as some of the stuff we've got. And Captain America says, no. In fact, a lot of it looks like Hollywood production designs. However, I think we'll play along for a while and continue our tour. But I also think we'll come back later tonight, unannounced. All right, and so now we are in Seattle. We see the Quinjet here. We're in a hospital, and they're seeing Professor Horton, the creator of the original Human Torch back from World War II. And so Wasp asks if he remembers her. He says, yep. And so we get a bit of a recap here. And then she asks if they feel like talking. We've believed for quite some time now that you were dead. He says, yes, so I was told. Something about the creation of your android member, the Vision. I was supposed to have died in his arms. And Hank Pym here. Right now, he is not a superhero. He's not a Giant Man or Ant-Man or Yellow Jacket or anything. He's just Hank Pym. He says, that's the story as we understood it until very recently, sir. You were supposed to have assisted the robot Ultron 5 in the conversion of the original Human Torch android into the android we've known as the Vision for years. Now we've believed the Torch and the Vision were one and the same, but your words and my examinations prove this is not the case. And so Horton says, no, the Vision could not be my Torch. Anyone with the slightest understanding of androids would know that. The Torch was an artificial human. We contained no mechanical parts, as the Vision does. The mixing of artificial organs and machine parts is what distinguished the Vision as a synthesoid, not an android. And so we're going to get a recap, but I have never covered these issues of Avengers, so we're going to read them together here. So Hank Pym continues explaining here. Yes, Professor, I now appreciate that distinction. As one who has trained himself extensively in robot technology, I probably should have realized it sooner, especially since as Ant-Man, I once took an impromptu tour of the Vision's innards. However, perhaps an even more important consideration now confronts us. Do you know how small, by the way, the Hank Pym would be to be inside the Vision? So, anyway, the Vision learned the so-called true details of his origin from Immortus. And so Immortus, who is also Kang the Conqueror, is showing him here. Sorry, and now, sorry, this part is the past and this part is the present here. So I'll show you a vision of your past. And so, um, here where he's looking at this monitor where Hank Pym is talking with Horton, and he goes, obviously the master of time lied. Why? And so Immortus, as he's watching, answers is, oh, never without good reason, my dear Dr. Pym, never without a good reason. And so he's walking down this um, weird stair here. A reason of cosmic consequence far beyond the simple three-dimensional comprehension. Only one who is at home as I am in the myri. I don't know how to. I know what it means, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Myri, whatever. Planes of the fourth dimension. Oh goodness gracious! I wish John Byrne would just start using smaller words. Um. Anyway, could ever hope to understand my reasons, or the place my calculated future has research for the Scarlet Witch. And so now we are looking at how they're taking her down here. So Random asks how she's feeling. She says, strange, this is why we awakened from a long sleep. And this guy says everything's good. And he says, you should rest, Wanda. There's much to consider. And she says, yes, rest. I need to think. And so they take her away here. And they're happy with their progress and that it was a good day. He says, a great day indeed, Miss Klein. Our successful assimilation of the Scarlet Witch paves the way for similar induction of all mutant kind. I love this when it's just a face here. That was something John Byrne started doing. It was a kind of a trope of the early 90s here. A genetic barrier has been breached. Soon we shall be able to abandon the dead end street of humanity, and then Homo sapiens will go the same way as did the dinosaurs before them. And so she takes her to a room here and says that she should be good in the morning, and she leaves. And Scarlet Witch says, I suddenly feel very sure about everything, as if every doubt I've ever had in my life has been scrubbed away. I begin to understand now how some of the things my father has said, things he said the days my brother Pietro and I were part of the Brotherhood. I don't like saying the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants because I don't think they would consider themselves evil. In those days, long before we even knew he was our father, he was to us only Magneto, master of magnetism. I say Magneto, no Magneto. Deal with it. Then he spoke often of the superiority of mutants, such as us. Homo superior, he called us. He said we were the future. Said that someday soon the humans would bow down to us, acknowledge us as their rightful masters. Now I see that he was right. More right than even he dared guess. Humankind has reached the end of its era of domination. They must be left behind like the dinosaurs, like the lesser mammals, left out to die out. And only that which endures shall remain. And that is actually the name of the creature. So only that which endures. So this next section is going to actually go quite fast because there's just a lot of description. So what we have here is this is the building, and then this is the night sky, and these are supposed to be stars. I don't know why this is how they chose to do the stars, but that's all right. So we basically have an opposite silhouette. Here comes Captain America and She-Hulk, and so they're going to break into this facility. Captain America says, my every instincts tell me she's here, meaning the Scarlet Witch. So they come here, and they're going to look through stuff, and she finds out that she's presently being held in sub-basement building just south of this one. And so She-Hulk has an idea, and Captain America knows what she's thinking, and she approves, and she's like, good, no reason to be skulking about now. And so she jumps up and busts right through this building. Captain America follows. He uses his shield to protect himself and lands and then jumps out of the way. And so now they're going to go look for her. I love the screen tones being applied here. They go down, and so they find this building here. And so She-Hulk is going to now go and break in. And with her strength, she kind of falls in here. And she's like, what the? There wasn't anywhere near the amount of resistance I was expecting. Cap was right. This was too easy. They wanted us to get in. And so Scarlet Witch says, indeed we did, She-Hulk. And now that you and Captain America have demonstrated your skills for us, it is time for you to join us. And so Captain America says, Wanda, She-Hulk, Wanda. And then he orders She-Hulk to get clear. They've turned her against us. No, Captain America, you are wrong. I have not been turned. I have rather been shown the truth, the great and ancient truth, which has dwelled within all living organisms since the dawn of time. The truth you will come to share. And so she drops all the stones on them here, knocking them out. And so she continues, once you two are properly assimilated. And so now we go back to the Great Lakes Avengers. This is the final page here, and Hawkeye is sort of he's I didn't think he wore a glove in the hand. I thought he always had the hand was just skinny anyway. He's like, no. I have never seen a more useless bunch of misfits. Now try it again. And these guys are like, oh, come on. And we've been at it all day. And now you're going to... Sorry, we've been at it a day and a half. We know we're not up to Avenger standards. And you're not going to get us there in one day. And so... Mockingbird says, I picked up a transmission of the Avengers waveband. It was faint, but I'm sure it was the last gasp of the Quinjet emergency signal. And so Hawkeye's like, all right, this was the moment I was waiting for. Avengers assemble. My former teammates are in some kind of jam, and we're going to bail them out. It's East and West versus the Great Lakes Avengers in Baptism of Fire. And so here we can finally get the credits here. John Byrne and Mike Machlan. Mike Machlan is someone who has that very, 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 very thick brush. I never thought he was a good fit for John Byrne, but does make for some interesting, an interesting inker, and I think he is going to do quite a bit of the remaining issues of John Byrne here. So, all right, and yeah, that concludes the issue. So, Avengers West Coast number 48 by John Byrne. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.